Hi, have you ever wondered why people defend the undefendable? Why someone will stand behind a person who is clearly wrong? And then support an idea that makes no sense or justify a behavior that everyone else sees as harmful, toxic, and outrageous. It doesn't really matter whether it's politics, relationship, workplace drama, or even family conflict. People who defend the undefendable with passion, emotion, and absolute conviction. Today, we are going to unpack exactly why this happens. First, just remember that people don't defend the behavior, they actually defend themselves. Most people aren't actually defending the wrong behavior, they are actually defending themselves in terms of their identity, their past choices, their loyalty, ego, and worldview. To admit something it's wrong would mean that that person is fooled or is supported by a wrong person or made the bad decision. And that hurts their ego. So instead of changing the belief, the people protect the belief actually, because it feels like they are protecting themselves. So just remember that. The other thing is loyalty can blind our judgment. When we are loyal to people or loyal to situations, we can lose sight of other things. Humans, we are actually wired to be part of a culture or tribe. So association is one of the things that is very common with us. We evolve by sticking in a group or acting with people or in circles that feel favorable to us. And that breeds loyalty. Even misplaced loyalty is powerful, trust me. So that means people defend the undefendable when they feel connected to that person or that leader, that friend, that partner, that community, belief system, you can say, or even a cause. So the defense becomes an act of belonging. So to disagree in that situation, for example, means like you are betraying that cause or that person. So that's the second side of why people defend the undefendable. The third one, science tells us that cognitive dissonance, then the brain behaves in different ways. So when your mind holds two conflicting ideas, science tells us that it creates discomfort. And with that, like you have a person is good, a person is also, another example is a person is doing some bad stuff. Science tells us that the brain does not like that clash of two different opinions. So it takes steps to reduce the discomfort by choosing the one with the explanation that protects their original belief. So invariably, it is not about the truth, but it's about the mental comfort that they get in defending the undefendable. Fourth point, it's the emotional bond that people create with others that override logic. A person who holds an emotional attachment doesn't see flaws, they see excuses. And that's why parents defend toxic children, partners justify harmful relationships, And fans defend celebrities that they've not even met. Employees defend terrible bosses. So emotion clouds our judgment in this situation, for example. The heart speaks louder than the facts in this situation, so we tend not to make the right judgment. The next, then why people defend the undefendable is the fear of change. People, humans as we are afraid of change. So when we see change coming, we prefer to be, part of the status quo. Sometimes admitting the truth forces a life change, or even a career change, or whatever it is. A change is a change. So these people, if they admit the behavior is wrong, or that behavior of that undefensible person is wrong, then they must walk away, or they have to confront someone, to have to reevaluate their values in this circumstance, for example. And that could also lead to breaks in relationships. And sometimes even accept a painful reality. And in most cases, humans as we are, that we want comfort, most people don't want to lose comfort, stability, or familiarity with situations or with people. So they will defend the undefendable to keep their world intact. So that's the other thing you need to remember as well. The next one is social pressure that silences critical thinking. When someone around you believes something, you are more likely to accept it even if it is wrong. You know why? Because people fear to be isolated. Others will feel like they will be judged or labeled or even called disloyal, or in the worst case scenario, even seen as an enemy. So they defend the undefendable because of the cost of disagreement is too high to take. People also disagree or defend the undefendable because they need to be right. It's a powerful undertaking. Being right feels good, right? Yeah, when you're right, it always feels good. But being wrong feels threatening. So what happens? So people double down even when they have the evidence that is clear that what they are defending is not supposed to be defended. So instead of saying, I got it wrong, they say, for example, no, you don't understand. And this is why arguments online never end, or people aren't debating for truth, but they are actually debating for who wins the debate or who is victorious. The next one is how you respond to the undefendable situation. If you find yourself in situations where somebody is defending the undefendable, how do you respond or act? So I'm going to give you five points for you to consider when you are faced or you see yourself in such a situation. When you see yourself in such a situation, don't attack them. They will only continue defending their position harder. And you know why? It's because of the ego. their ego, it's already in a battle mode. So they'll keep fighting and fighting, making sure that their argument, supersedes yours. What you need to do is try asking questions in a nice way, and don't push your arguments. Because if you ask questions, especially open-ended questions, without triggering defense, you'll be able to have meaningful conversation or meaningful engagement with these people who defend the undefendable. Understand the emotional reason behind their stand. That's a very complex, not an easy one, but it's something worth exploring. That will give you a sense of where they are coming from and how they behave, and you'll be able to adjust your response or your communication style to that. And then the fourth point that you need to sort of consider is give people space or psychological room to change their mind. Thing is, if you humiliate somebody who is defending the undefendable, they will never shift their position. They will hold on to their position as long as it will take. So just remember that. The last point, which you can also consider using, is when you find yourself with somebody who is defending the undefendable, you just have to remember that logic that will not win, because they are actually looking to taking things with emotions, because emotion is way high with them. So you have to remember to engage with them with empathy and not confrontation. So that is very, very important. Finally, what you need to do is, people defend the undefendable not because they are foolish, and that's one thing that you have to. It's not because, oh, this person doesn't understand the situation, but it's just because you're human and you have emotions. We all have emotions sometimes. That we sort of tap into that. And that's one thing and then we also have our identity that we need to protect, and also loyalty and fear. All of us have. So all these things interplay in people and sometimes make them to take those positions or posture when they are defending the undefendable. So understanding all these things, understanding the fear, the emotion, the identity, how people are loyal to others, will help you navigate the complex situations that involve with somebody trying to defend the undefendable. And you'll be able to understand and deal with them with wisdom instead of frustration. If you find this podcast insightful, share it with somebody and subscribe. Thanks for being with me once again on Small Insights, Big Impact. Until then, see you next time.